Okay, sim fans, race fans, RC fans. Racing 393. Back again for part 2 of my BRISCA F1 World Championship final journey. So in this video, to give you an idea what to expect, I've got a little bit at the end of the consolation semi-final. There's the mini stock gold roof race. I wasn't going to record it because I was getting very low on battery and I was wanting to record the BRISCA F1. And when the race started, it actually was a very good race. It was stopped because of an incident. I thought, well, it's not going to be that long, so I might as well record it. So you've got the mini stocks on there, the BRISCA mini stocks, and then we got the world final for the F1. Now, just to clarify a few things, I've listened back on my part 1. There's some errors there. There's a couple of errors which I'm a bit annoyed about, and I was thinking about it this morning actually. So 259, I know that's Paul Hines, right? I spoke to him there. I do occasionally speak to him on social media, and he responds. I don't know him. He's the guy in the front of that picture you can see next to me in the yellow car. He's quite receptive to messages via social media, and I did speak to him briefly when he was stood by his car. So I don't know him, but I feel confident enough to and kind of on that sort of par that I could go and have a little chat. So the annoying thing is, I called the driver Paul Harrison. That was the first mistake. So Paul Harrison is a racer out there. He's number 2. So, but nothing to do with Paul Hines. Okay, so that's the first one. The reason the initial mistake was made is that car is a Harrison built car. When I thought Harrison, I then thought Murray Harrison. Now he's a driver that used to race. I don't think he does anymore. I don't even think he built it. So from my understanding, it's Ryan Harrison. Now Ryan Harrison should race, but he was banned because of a situation that happened at the European Championship a month or 2 ago. It could actually be Ryan's car. I'm not 100%. So it's a Ryan Harrison built car driven by Paul Hines, and as far as I'm aware, Paul Harrison, which is a famous name in itself, isn't nothing to do with Murray Harrison. I could be wrong, but my understanding is it isn't. And Murray Harrison, I don't know whether he's connected to Ryan Harrison. I've got a feeling they might be, but that's as far as my knowledge goes. I made a few editing errors. I was sort of messing around with the background music. Sometimes it was a bit louder than it should have been. But when I cut and shut some of the scene, it sort of moved my synced voice out of what I was looking at when I was actually recording to what you were seeing. So sometimes it was a little bit behind. So it's annoying, but it is what it is. Now the reason, I was thinking about this also. I want to explain something. Although I've been in stock car racing many years and raced for 13 myself, but been in stock car racing since I was 15, no less than that even. Nappies. I was a kid. I don't remember a lot of that, but especially the BRISCA scene. And my father was in the BRISCA scene from right at the beginning, 1954, probably all the way up to 1975, 76, something like that, when BRISCA had a bit of a breakaway to Scota, and Speedworth then took on it wasn't the BRISCA cars, but there were BRISCA drivers, southern based, that ended up racing for Speedworth, created that sort of divide that went on for years from Speedworth and BRISCA. And without going into all the detail, that's kind of where that is. That's my father's era. And I took over there when I can remember things from like early 80s. My dad did race momentarily in the early 80s, but a different formula for Speedworth, and then stopped for personal reasons. and I continue to watch. So my knowledge of stock car racing stems from 1980 whatever properly all the way up to now. However, things move on. As far as the BRISCA side of it, when I was racing my super stock for Speedworth, so that was from 97 to 2010, that era, I kind of knew a lot about all the drivers and their ins and outs. Speedworth, not every formula, but a lot of the formula, the mainstream formulas, and the BRISCA, because I used to buy magazines and videos, and I've still got all that. And I went to many BRISCA meetings, world finals especially, European championships, and felt more part of the sport. Of course, that's 2010, my last delve into it like heavily, and it dwindled over the years. Although I still went a couple of Speedworth meetings and BRISCA meetings, you don't go as often. And we're 2022 now, and I sort of have to struggle when I last went to a BRISCA meeting. Things have moved on massively. We're talking, I don't know, 8 years of like proper stock car racing that I've been to. People come and go, kids grow up, people come into the sport. You know, I'm way behind. So you can understand how my enthusiasm for the sport anyway can be lost in translation for the time that I haven't been. Yeah, so I apologise for that. Because there we go, a little bit of coffee. Okay, so I'm gonna now now you're now going to see the rest of the meeting with a little bit of narrative over it. I'm not sure what I'm going to say and when, because it is quite noisy. Listen to the video, and I don't want you to miss anything. I have watched the race. I've edited it anyway already, and I've watched it. From what I've done, it was a spectacular race. I'm just hoping that you can see what I portrayed when I was there, and what I'm trying to portray with the video. So anyway, here it is, the F1 World Championship final and the mini stock race, national mini stocks. Hope you enjoy it. So here we are where we left off in part 1. This is the end of the consolation semi-final. I think again I called it a semi. Again, it's just a play on words. I don't know what it is. It's annoying. I say these things because I don't really have much of a script. So this is the normal heat. Start the meeting off. So I'm going to keep quiet and let you watch this without me talking. Enjoy Heat 1, BRISCA F1. So here we are. This is the mini stock race. This is the first restart. I wasn't going to film this, but these kids, I believe, was it 11 years old to 16, in a fully space-framed mini. They sit in the middle of the car, a bit like single-seater, and they're super fast. I'm so impressed. The cars all look good as well. They're tidy, they're strong, and they do, as you can see, they do get stuck in. Anyway, I'm going to keep quiet so you can watch the race. So towards the end of the race here, the first three, I think, were charging into the final bend, as you can see. You'll see that in a minute. I sort of picked them up on the back straight here, and there's sort of, I think that's first and second. It was a good old hit, put him into the wall, and I think there is the third guy there, the blue top, got through. I think Lewis Smith, his name was. Good race, actually. So what I decided to do here is just do a little bit of a showcase of the qualifiers for the BRISCA F1 World Final. So I just took a picture of best I could as they came past on their parade lap. I'm only doing this on my iPhone, so it's a bit random. But I've got to say, I would say a big well done to each and every single driver that has made the effort to, one, qualify for the world final over the year, and made the effort to be, at Ipswich on the day to, there's John Lund, to participate in the 2022 world final. That was a bit of a weird picture. I missed that one. Some of these drivers are from Holland and so on and so forth. New Zealand. They've travelled literally halfway around the world to be here, and I think they all deserve, that's Mark Sargent, they all deserve a big thank you and well done, because I cannot stress that this is just a hobby. It's not professional, as I've said before. They've got sponsors. I kind of get that, but a lot of them, it's disposable income, and it's a hobby. They do it because they love doing it. So as we get up to the sharper end of the grid, hopefully you can appreciate the drivers that have qualified, and if you look online, you'll get the names on each one of these drivers. I'm not going to rattle through them because I don't know them all. But some of them I do. But yeah, all the cars look absolutely spectacular. You can see like New Zealand, that's quite high up the grid. We're working from the back to the front. And there's a number of drivers here who I don't even know who they are. Although he's fairly famous, he's got a famous father, and that one went well as well. That was a quick car. He was disappointed. He had a crash. That's the world champion elect. That was a good drive by him, actually, Charlie Sauder. And then we get to the sharper end of the grid now. There's Paul Harrison. So that's the guy I was getting all confused with. Frankie Wayman Jr. And then we're getting up to there as Frankie Wayman again. Nice looking car. There's the world champion, well, at the time, current. And then there's Mr. Hines, Paul Hines. Did I get that right? 259 Paul Hines. Nice car. Right, that's that. Here's the start. So it's all very spectacular. Perhaps not quite as eccentric as it used to be. It's to do with the fact that the Queen passed away, so a lot of the normal razzmatazz celebrations were dulled, apparently. It's up to you how you take that. I've got my opinion, but Yeah, so they do a couple of rolling laps, which I think I edited out a little bit. They go around with two sort of pace cars. One pace car pulls to one side, and the final pace car takes them round again. This is just purely for the crowd. There's no one on my end. Where I was stood, there was no one near us. Well, there wasn't. There's about 4 other people. The rest of the people are sort of scattered around that sort of back straight there and along down to turns 1 and 2. It's a very... the thing is, you'll know, a bit of a spoiler alert, the race did take place eventually at night. There was a stoppage. There was a couple of stoppages actually, but you can see here they're all sort of going round. That the track is still damp. On shale, that wouldn't have mattered. The rain that we did get would have just soaked into the shale, which is what most of the tracks are. I don't know. I'm a bit of a tarmac fan, and these are good on tarmac, but I do think they're at their best on shale. We'll find that out next year. So they're coming around. The pace truck that one's pulled in. Getting very close now to the start. I'll leave you to watch this bit. See, we coming out to the start. The green flag will drop. Away we go. There's already a situation there. I sort of stayed on that. There's a bit of a 2 cars went up, down again. And that was the first stoppage. I was watching down the track the other way to see if anything had happened. But you see that it took a little bit of time to get that cleared, to get everyone out of the way. And it's dark. I think the world final is a lot better at night, personally. Go again. Start. Great start. Love this.
Behind Tom Harris. Hines takes the lead into 5
See, Paul Hines taking a bit of a tighter line. Tom Harris getting pushed aside. Interested, watch the lines here. Watch the lines coming into turn 3. The cars are taking a bit of they're sort of diamonding the corner. You see Tom Harris got back up to 3rd. That guy is so talented. See the lines are diamond to the corner. See how Tom Harris is a bit of a sprint car-esque line, I think. See, so there's 5 on 5 Frankie Raymond Jr. Got into the lead. Paul Hines was in 4th then. This part of the race, this was Frankie Raymond Jr.'s race to lose, which he could have had this. Take no prisoners. Charlie Sauder right up on the back end of Tom Harris there. So Frankie's the lead, Charlie second, Tom third. I'll tell you now, that Charlie Sauder car was on the rails. Once it dried out, that car was singing, I tell you, from where I stood. It's still very slippery on that outside line. Once you get pushed off line, you're in. Stock car racing's funny, as in, if you yield or start to think, oh, I don't know, you'll get thundered even into the fence. You've got a bumper to bumper contact. It needs to be square on the back, front bumper to rear bumper. You start to yield, that's where the problems lie. You've either got to get right off line or not at all. I found that out many times. Half the time you wouldn't have got hit as hard if you just stayed on line. So when going off line, you get hit, so you have a big accident. A bit easier here at Armco. It used to be posts and wires, so posts either cables on top, but that used to be wires all the way down, then a little raised curb at the bottom. That was a car wrecker. I found that out as well. So leads the catch is sort of like back end, 3/4 of the field now. Slows one a little bit. You see Charlie Sauder is actually catching Frank. So Frank made a mistake here. Straight in. That's what cost him. Just behind that post. It's a dramatic part of the race. Changed the complexity of the race, I feel there. Restart. Charlie on the front, Tom second. I'll be honest with you, because Tom's been fence a couple of times hard. I don't think Charlie has, so his car was still straight. And that car was on rails. It was drying out. Frank Wayman Jr. 515 didn't catch. I have to say, he was way back then. He put on a good show there. Cool. Sort of back in the front. That's quite impressive. Wondering what the flashing lights are on these cars. The status is superstar status, so top red. So the top points scores. I think it's the top. I don't know, it's the top 10, top 15. Country, I don't know. The status is superstar status. I think it's first place oval racing. Also BRISCA. Seeing that Charlie Sauder is absolutely no way. Tom's actually struggling with that car now. He's going to bend to take the rear axle. He's hit that fence loads of times. Someone's got a fence with there, as you saw. See Tom's dropping back into the clutches of Frank. Contributions coming up, I reckon. Tom. drying out now. It's pretty much dry on the line. Cars are lapping a lot quicker than what it was in practice. There's the leader. He's gone. Gets in there. Tom still gets away with it. That's the end of the race. The best world finals I've been to for since I think 1990. It's given it plenty. I don't know. I can't remember. Was that 97? Coventry, I think. Coventry Stadium. There he is. Worthy champion, drove well, outdrove him, didn't get involved in anything actually, so there's Frank. Car's a bit second hand. It's not they're built for this type of racing. Bit of a celebration of donut start down there. Back. Whew. That was a long day. I've recorded this once already, but I don't know where it's gone. Lost the outro. Anyway, a 17-hour day. Man, oh man, that was tiring. I think. Was it worth it? Yeah, it was definitely. It was a very, very good meeting. The world final especially was very good. My face does all funny shapes. Yeah, is it worth the money? Yeah, well, I wouldn't like to pay £47 every time we went to see a big meeting, I must admit. I mean, what I expect to pay is somewhere around, I don't know, 35 maybe, 40. I think that's about in today's society. It's about as much as you want to pay. But even so, you don't, like I said, you don't have to go. I mean, I haven't been, me personally, for quite a while, so I thought, well, it's going to cost me X amount. I might as well give it a go, and I'm glad I went. I have watched the footage. I've watched it back. Yeah, it is good. It's very difficult to portray on camera what it's like being there. The atmosphere, the sounds are more vivid. Colours are more vivid. Smell and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, but a long day. Same for the drivers as well. I mean, they're not all local to the track. Some are, but some are probably a good 2, 3, 4 hours or more away. Not including the overseas drivers, the Dutch who come over on the ferry and either stay in a B&B or they stay in their coaches. That really is a supreme effort. And then we've got the other long distance travellers as well. They've probably been over in the UK for a couple of days or a day or so before. And even for them, it's still a lot of those guys would be racing on the Friday night, the Saturday and Sunday, you know, the 3 events. So it's effectively it's a hobby. It's not even professional. These guys, they're not paid to race. They might have sponsors. The prize money for winning is, I would say, reasonably substantial, but it nowhere near covers your running costs. Absolutely nowhere near. So it is effectively a hobby. You race at weekends. You fix your car up in your garage and you take it to a race meeting on a trailer or the back of a transporter and you race. So hats off. I've been involved in stock car racing all my life and raced for 13 years. I know what it's all about. You do it for the love of the hobby, the sport. You certainly don't do it for money. It's just no way. Very, very occasionally you come away quids in. If you have a good meeting, like I've had a few times, you actually come away ahead, but the money doesn't go far. It isn't worth. It ain't going to pay its way for the following couple of meetings. So the running cost damage far outweigh anything else. But I can't recommend it enough. I mean, next year, 2023, it's got a 3-day event in Northampton, which is about an hour and a half from me, so it's a little bit nearer. It's a tighter, smaller track on shale. So all things going well, I'm planning to do all 3 days. Be another video of that, but that's a long way off. Also, I do apologise. There was a few things with this video. It's long. There's not much I can do about that. I didn't know what to do, whether to edit it right down or just leave it as it is. I mean, I'd kept it a minimum anyway. And a big shout out to all drivers who took part. They deserve, each and every one of them, a big thanks, because well, it's two ways. Without the spectators, there's no sport, and without the sport, we don't go and watch. So it kind of works hand in hand. But each and every one of those drivers put in a tremendous amount of effort throughout the year. I mean, they've qualified all year to get to this sort of stage. It is an actual world final, because it's got world finalists from all over the globe. So probably true to its word, but it's only held in the UK. So I don't think, no, they've never had, to the best of my knowledge, an F1 World Final overseas. They used to run an F1 long track World Final overseas. I still think they do. Is it the World Cup called now? Over in Holland, but it's a completely different kettle of fish. So, you know, mate, that's it for now. I'm tired. It was good. I would recommend it. I appreciate if you've watched it all, because it is a bit of a challenge, and I keep looking at myself, looking at the screen, looking at the camera. It's a bit weird. So without further ado, I thank you all very much for watching, getting this far. It's I hope you all enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time.